Hello and welcome to some mods that bring back removed content from the game. Now look, Red Dead has about a million things that were unfortunately removed from the original. Now I wish all of them were actually in the game, but some of them are actually extremely cool and I really wanted to see them in the vanilla game. There are some mods, however, that do make this possible for us to enjoy the features or some locations, whatever. So if you know any more other mods that actually do this, please let me know down in the comments and I can make a part 2 or I can just record myself playing with them, whatever. And if you enjoy at any point in the video, be sure to subscribe because it does help me out a lot. And without wasting much more of your time, let's begin with number 5. Now, this is one of those mods I genuinely love, and it's extremely perfect. I honestly might be a psycho because I really do enjoy getting into shootouts with the law. And one thing I've always noticed missing when playing vanilla is that it's just kinda empty. You just kill a few people, sometimes they may kill you or whatever. But in the original game you could actually hear some voice lines, which would happen when you were getting into a shootout with the other people. Now, some of these were actually returned with the mod Cut Dialogue Restoration and Enhancement. Arthur or John will scream different dialogues. Now, look, this wouldn't be so cool, and this wouldn't be in this list if there wasn't specific dialogues for who you're fighting. Like, for example, if you are shooting the law, you will hear the player dissing the law. Unfortunately, again, this was removed before the game was released, and I really want to see that because a lot of people do play in console and they cannot experience this amazing mod, which I think everybody should deserve to at least try it once. And I highly recommend checking out this mod in the description. And before we continue with the other list, every mod you see mentioned in this video, you can find it in the description down below.
You're all dead, you morons! I'll kill the lot of you! I hope there's more of you! This all you fools got? You're a dead man! I'm sending you straight to hell! Run now while you got the chance! Who do you think you are? I'm gonna kill you good, you bastard! You're dead, fool! You punk!
Alright, let's move to number 4. Now, in the vanilla game, before release, you could actually recruit some gang members to join you in your adventures. Like, let's say, for example, you want to grab Javier, or John, or even little bitch Jack into your little adventures. You could absolutely do that. You could go maybe into a saloon, you could go into a shootout, whatever. Now, one thing I really liked about GTA 4 and also GTA 5 is that they have kind of like this hangout feature. So you give a call to any of your friends, and you could just go out with them, have a good time. Unfortunately, this wasn't possible in Red Dead, obviously because there wasn't phones, but I wish it was actually in the game where you could just approach any gang member and tell you, hey, let's just go get a drink together. It's kind of like that mission, A Quiet Time, where you and Lenny go have a good time in the bar. And this would be very epic to see in the vanilla game. Now, there is a mod that does also bring this back. Before I mention it though, there is a glitch you can do which this could actually help you without mods. Now, it's kind of complicated, but what I remember of is basically you gotta lead some enemies to the camp, and when, for example, the gang members are fighting them off, next time you reload, they will actually follow you around. But I prefer this option if you're playing on PC. It's the companion mod. Basically, approach any gang member, you should see a new prompt, like saying, for example, follow, be passive, or just stay in your place. Now, this mod is way smoother, and I feel like more user-friendly than using the actual glitch. And I highly recommend doing this because sometimes it just kind of gets lonely, doesn't it? Being alone in your adventures. I kind of get sad because Arthur doesn't have no friends, but now I can bring little bit Jack and get him mauled by a bear, which is my favorite thing in the whole game. In some pre-release screenshots, we could actually see Arthur holding in a quiver on his side. Now, this was supposed to be in the game where he would basically pull out an arrow, kind of put it in the bow and start shooting, but unfortunately this was again removed from the game. And I really would like to see this because we all actually know that Red Dead is one of the most likely one of the most realistic games of all time ever made. There is so much attention to detail everywhere. But if you want to know more attention to detail stuff that are actually realistic, I've made lots of videos. You can find some of them in my channel just if you scroll down. But I just want to say it looks extremely nice. Now there is a mod created by the one and only Julia G. So this is the restored cut content quiver 1.6.6. Now this guy basically, or woman, I'm sorry, they basically make stuff that was removed from the content, and by the fact that it drove their OCD nuts, that basically, and honestly I gotta agree with this one, Arthur kind of just like pulls arrows out of his ass non-stop, like it just comes out of nowhere. But to make the game more realistic, they did add this kind of quiver, and there's also an animation from it. And I do recommend using this more than the vanilla, because it does genuinely look nice and it just fits perfectly with the kind of game Red Dead Redemption 2 is. Alright, number 2. Look, I personally loved the side mission Noblest Men and Women. This was the first side mission I did in my first playthrough, and it was amazing. I still do it every time I start a new playthrough, because I really like dueling people in the game. I've always been a fan of Western movies, and when I see them duel, it's just a good thing to watch. I don't know how else to say it. And there ain't many people you can duel in this game. You got again like Billy Midnight, Franco Hernandez, and you got Emmett Granger. Yep. And these are the three guys you duel at the first, and then you got Jim Boy Calloway at the end, whatever. But other than that, there's like 2 maybe other stranger kind of things that you can duel, a drunk guy, and there's also another guy in Valentine that you can actually duel. But other than that, there is none, and I absolutely hate that. So I have a mod for you. This is known as the Duels mod. Duels were originally in the vanilla game, where basically you could duel about anyone, and this mod brings that perfectly. Simply approach any NPC, antagonize them once, and you should see a new option telling them to duel. Once you have done that, you go into position as you can see in the map, and you are ready to duel the bastard. Now I recommend highly to use this mod because there's also some voice lines, there's some music once you kill someone, so yeah, it is a very well made mod, and I've been using it since I started using mods in PC. Now I've mentioned the mod maybe hundreds of thousands of times in my videos, but I just gotta do it because it's honestly such a good mod. Alright, the one and only number 1. Now I feel like the most overhated thing in RDR2 besides chapter 1 has to be Guarma. And I genuinely liked Guarma. It's a beautiful place. Honestly, I wish we saw it more, and it was actually supposed to be in the game where you could visit Guarma, experience its beauties, because while you're playing in chapter 5, you really can't do much exploring because you literally have an invisible sniper ready to kill you and all. But there is a mod known as Immersive Guarma. So basically with this mod, all you have to do is go to Saint Denis, you'll see a ship guy, approach him, pay up around like $40, and you should see yourself into Guarma. What's great about this, you will also have your horse with you there, so you can set up camps, see all the beauties that Guarma has to offer.
Cruel, cruel world, must I go on? Cruel, cruel world, I'm moving on. I've been living too fast, and I've been living too long. Cruel, cruel world, I'm gone. This big old world sure got me running around. I heard a voice that said, just settle down. And with the moonlight as my guide, and with this feeling deep inside, I know now that I am homeward bound. Cruel, cruel world, must I go home? Cruel, cruel world, I'm moving on. I've been living too fast, and I've been living too wrong. Cruel, cruel world, I'm gone.
I feel like it's just too overly hated. It is a beautiful place. There's beautiful stuff you can witness, and also the great thing about this mod, it also disables the Guarma sniper, so you don't get fucked by that guy anymore. But yeah, it's just honestly a good mod, and this was supposed to be in the game. As I said, it was cut or removed, unfortunately. But yeah, again, if you know any other mods that actually bring back content, please let me know down in the comments, and I'll make a part 2. Alright, I will see you tomorrow for a new video. Goodbye. Mwah!